I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Oak Ridge Board of Education. Let's please rise for the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have just a couple things on our agenda tonight, the line-by-line review and the public hearing and the vote. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Ms. Craven. Any additions or corrections? If not, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, before we start on this, Dr. Borchers, do you have any comments?
I don't. This is kind of your show tonight, Ms. Chair, and our staff is here. We're down a few staff. We'll try to answer questions the best we can. If we have to, we'll get back to you after this meeting. And as I mentioned, Ms. Van Dyke knows this document front and back. I may refer to her to maybe direct that question to who can best answer that.
Okay, all right. So I want to thank all of you for being here and all of the millions that are watching at home. This is not our most exciting meeting, I can assure you. But this is something the board does every year. We've done it for years. We want to make it known to the community that we do look at the line-by-line expenditures of the budget, and then we have opportunities for questions. Okay, so we're going to start on page 12. There are some similarities in some areas of the budget that are listed several times. The Social Security, the state retirement, the life, medical, and dental insurance, the employee Medicare, retirement, and vision. Those are in many categories. I'm not going to read those out every time. I'm just going to say benefits package, just for the sake of speeding through this process. And then I would ask if you have any questions to please hold your questions till the end of that section. And then I'll ask, are there any questions or comments? Okay, so here we go. All right, we're on page 12 of the General Purpose Fund. 71100, the regular instruction program. This includes all expenses related to activities that provide Oak Ridge students with elementary and secondary learning experiences. The major elements in this series include salaries for teachers, teacher assistants, the cost of instructional supplies and textbooks, instructional equipment. Revenues for this section consist of local, county, and state government funds. So that would include our teachers, the Career Ladder program, our homebound teachers, our educational assistants, our other salary and wages, including our summer and winter band programs and summer school, our substitute teachers, the benefits section, contracted services, including the Oak Ridge Children's Museum, instructional and supply materials, textbooks, both electronic and bound, software, furniture and fixtures, including band instrument repair and replacement and orchestra instrument repair and replacement, our regular instruction equipment, and that includes student devices, grades 5 through 12, laptop, and case replacement. So the total for the regular instruction program is $38,338,532. That's an increase of 20.96%. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, moving on. The next one is 71150, the Alternative Instruction Program. The alternative school program is an instructional program designated for students who have been suspended long-term or expelled, as well as those students who need smaller setting and varied instruction strategies in order to be successful. This program includes activities that deal directly with the interaction between teachers and students in an alternative learning environment. So that category is our teachers, our secretaries, our educational assistants, substitute teachers, the benefit package, instructional supplies, staff development, and special education equipment. And the total for the alternative instruction program is $902,771, a decrease of 4.14%. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, moving on to the special ed program. The special education program includes services for students with identified special needs. Services are for students in pre-kindergarten through high school, including specially designed instruction that addresses the unique needs of students eligible to receive special ed services. These services are provided at no cost to parents. In that category are our teachers, our homebound teachers, educational assistants, speech pathologists, the benefit package, instructional materials, software, and special education equipment. In the special ed program, that total is $6,529,404, and that is an increase of 9.36%. Any questions? Okay. All right. Next is the Career Technical Education Program. This includes learning experiences acquired through activities designed to prepare students to enter a career or pursue additional technical career training after high school. So that would be teachers, educational assistants, substitute teachers, the benefits section, other contracted services, and in that category we have our aviation and flight instruction, the instructional supply materials that would include automotive consumables and welding consumables, also the vocational instructional equipment, and that would be a purchase of STEM equipment such as 3D printers, laser engravers, and drones. So the total for the career and technical education program is $2,571,200. That's an increase of 7.10%. Any questions? Okay. Next is 71900, contingency. The instructional contingency is designed to fund instructional activities which cannot immediately be classified in one of the other instructional categories. These charges are for potential grants and donations, additional teacher salary and benefit contingency as needed due to possible enrollment fluctuations, and open purchase orders at year end. The contingency total is $1,100,000, and that is an increase of 48.47%. Any questions or comments? Okay, moving on. 72120, health services. Health services include physical and mental health services, which are not direct instruction. Included are activities that provide students with appropriate medical and nursing services. The supervisor is our coordinated student health, our coordinated school health, also our medical personnel, and that is nurses in every school. Our benefit package, then local travel. Contracted services would include interpreter services. Then other supplies and material, that includes AED replacement pads, the turkey trot, vaping prevention and education, and supplies for each of the school clinics. The total for health services is $942,152, an increase of 12.85%. Any questions? Okay, next, 72130, other student support. This includes activity designed to assess and improve the well-being of students and to assist them in reaching their potential and individual education goals. This would include the school counseling, the benefit package, our evaluation and testing, that would be our cost of district testing materials, other contracted services including behavior specialists, EMT and SRO services for middle school football and basketball games, software, other supplies and materials including the Oak Ridge High School Honors Program, graduation, diplomas, and mailing expenses. Then staff development, including Innovation School Grant in each of our middle schools and the high school. Other charges are expenditures for special grants and donations, such as the Public School Education Foundation grants. The other student support category totals in the proposed budget $2,211,668. That's an increase of 4.84%. Any questions? Ms. Craven.
Under the other charges, I do see our schools listed out. There is one I'm not as familiar with, Nakashi. I was hoping that we could get a little bit of a breakdown of what that is and what that goes to.
Yeah, NACA is our exchange program that I actually should have, Elizabeth might know how many years in total, 35 years in total that we've done an exchange program where our students go to Japan and Japanese students come here. During the COVID years, that program came to a halt and spending came to a halt in that, but we've slowly been rebuilding that program, and as this is another anniversary year, the plans from the NACA group include more visits and field trips for the Japanese students when they attend and a bigger ceremony when they attend this year. So we were setting aside some additional funding as we continue to grow that NACA program back every year. Mm-hmm.
Okay, any more questions? All right, moving on. 72210, regular instructional support. This section includes expenses characterized as assisting instructional staff in planning, developing, and evaluating the process of providing learning experiences for students. Major elements of this section include salaries for executive directors, supervisors, coordinators, and librarians, costs for library books, in-service activities, and travel. So we have the supervisor, the librarians, the secretaries, our instructional coaches, the benefits package, instructional supply materials, library books and media, software, other supplies and materials, including printers, toner, card readers, special equipments, such as paper report cards and special forms, our discipline handbook, staff development. The total in the proposed budget for the regular instructional support is $4,392,916, a decrease of 9.46%. Any questions? Okay, next is 72220, special education support. These are activities including assisting the special education staff in providing appropriate learning experiences, primarily for students with special needs. We have in this category the supervisor, our psychologists, our secretaries, local travel, other contracted services including occupational therapists, clinical assessments, transportation costs for Special Olympics, scanning and storage of of special ed archive files, vision assessments and services, other supplies and materials, and staff development. The special education support proposed budget is $766,426. This is a decrease of 21.47%. Any questions? Okay, next is 42230, career and technical program support. These expenses are characterized as assisting the technology, career instructional staff in planning, developing, and evaluating the process of providing learning experiences for students. This includes the supervisor, our secretaries, the benefit package, local travel, software, staff development, other charges including the Oak Ridge High School TV studio program equipment and supplies. The total proposed budget for career and technical program support is $274,305, a decrease of 2.24%. Any questions? Okay, moving on. 72250, technology services. This is supporting the information system staff and data processing services of the district. We have the director of that program, computer programmers, data processing personnel, secretaries, overtime pay, the benefits package, our communication, including long-distance service, wireless service, internet service, our consultants, data processing services, internet connectivity, other contracted services, data processing supplies, office supplies, cabling, software, staff development, other charges, data processing equipment. The proposed budget for technology services is $3,270,169. That's an increase of 8.57%. Any questions? Okay, moving on to adult programs. This section is accounts to support the adult education. That program has now been taken over. The TCAT of Knoxville has applied for and has awarded the grant for adult education. So Mr. Scott is devising a plan to transition our students into that program. And so that budget will be zero, which is a 100% decrease. Any questions? Okay, moving on to communications. This section includes expenses associated with the communications support. So we have our chief communications officer. Other salaries and wages would be our communication coordinator, our benefit package. Other contracted services include website, classroom communication platforms, and digital forms. Other supplies and materials, and staff development. The total for the communications proposed budget is $340,482, which is an increase of 17.27%. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the Board of Education. This category is 72310. It reflects activities of the Oak Ridge Schools Board of Education, which has been created according to state law and city charter, and vested with responsibilities for educational policies and activities in the school system. I need to let it be known that this board does not get the bottom line here. Our salary and wages for all of us combined for this year, the stipend is $10,200. Woohoo! Then we have audit services. We have to pay for an annual audit that is required by law. Dues and memberships, the COSABA, the TSBA Association, and Oak Ridge Chamber of Commerce is included in that. Our legal fees, Hopefully, that won't go up. Our other contracted services, including TSBA e-meetings, TSBA policy service, and police coverage for our meetings. Liability insurance, our premiums on corporate surety bonds, our trustees commission, our workers' compensation insurance, and our staff development. The total for the 2025 proposed budget for the Board of Education is $1,329,949. This is a decrease of 10.56%. Any questions? Okay.
I was wondering if we could get an explanation on the line item 510 on the trustees commission and kind of what that is.
Sure, Ms. Van Dyke?
Absolutely. So the trustees commission is it's a fee that we pay to Anderson and Roane County trustee. It is, well, it's, the rates are set by TCA and intergovernmental agreements, and we're basically paying them for collecting and dispersing taxes. So when we get the property tax revenues, they figure it out. They say, this is how much you get, and we're going to withhold this much as a commission. So they take it on the front end, basically, but we still have to account for it as an expense.
Okay, any more questions? All right, moving on. Category 72320, the Director of Schools. This section reflects activities performed by the Superintendent of Schools and assists generally in directing and managing all the affairs of the school system. This includes the Superintendent of Schools, the secretaries, the benefit package, postal charges, office supplies, staff development, administrative equipment. The total proposed budget for the Director of Schools is $441,112, which is an increase of 6.17%. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the Office of Principal. This is 72410. This series of expenditure accounts includes activities performed in supervising and managing all operations of the school. That is our principals, our accountants and bookkeepers, our assistant principals, our secretaries, the benefit package, staff development, administrative equipment. So the total for the Office of Principal in our proposed budget is $5,249,719, an increase of 12.35%. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to 72510, Fiscal Services. This section involves activities concerned with the fiscal operation of Oak Ridge Schools. This function includes budgeting, receiving, dispersing, financial and property accounting, payroll, inventory control, internal and external audit, and fund management. Okay, we have our supervisor, our accountants and bookkeepers, our purchasing personnel, our secretaries, our payroll specialist, accounts payable specialists, our benefits package, our software, our staff development, other charges, and administrative equipment. The total for the fiscal services in our proposed budget is $1,190,238. This is an increase of 12.04%. Any questions? Okay, we're going to move on to 72520, Human Resources / Personnel. This budget includes human resources and personnel support services. So we have the supervisor and secretaries, other salary and wages, including an HR coordinator and HR specialist, our benefit package, contract and services. This includes costs for state-mandated TBI employment screening for all new employees and includes required re-screening of all existing employees. Office supplies, software, staff development, And the total for the human resources / personnel in our proposed budget is $585,527. That's a 12.92% increase. Any questions? So I do have one question. The required rescreening, that has to be done like all this year?
I'm not sure of that question. Do you know, Jennifer, if it's everybody? Sorry, Matt couldn't be here this evening.
I do know that every 5 years, and so it kind of cycled through that every 5 years, people were having to do that. This year, there's the one-time implementation cost to join this, the TBI FBI Wrap Back program, and now Matt would have to be the one to explain what that is. But I believe that's going to be something that kind of just happens kind of automatically instead of us having to
Depending on
go
where
in
they're
and
at.
do fingerprints all the time, so.
But we can get you an answer once we
Yeah,
talk to Matt.
that's
in the
just a
morning.
big jump from previous years. Okay, any more questions?
And that should just be the one-year implementation cost on that. My understanding is it should drop back down after
Right.
this year.
Okay, thank you. All right, next, 72610, operation of the plant. This category is concerned with keeping the physical plant clean and ready for daily use. Included are operations of heating, lighting, and ventilation systems, the repair and replacement of equipment and facilities. Also included is the cost of building rental and property insurance. We have the supervisor and secretaries, our custodians, the benefit package, our communication, and that includes a district emergency radio handset repair and replacement, rentals, disposal fees, including trash and recycling services, grease trap pumping, document shredding, medical waste, etc. Contracted services, like pest control, custodial supplies, electricity, fuel oil, natural gas, water and sewer, other supplies and materials, including HVAC, filters and belts, boiler insurance, building and content insurance, staff development, plant operation equipment. The total proposed budget for the operation of the plant is $5,423,989. That is an increase of 6.38%. Any comments or questions? Okay, maintenance of the plant, 72620. This section of the budget includes activities concerned with keeping the physical plant open, comfortable, and safe for use, keeping the grounds, buildings, and equipment in effective working condition and state of repair. We have the supervisor and director, secretaries, our maintenance personnel, overtime pay, our benefits section, maintenance and repair of our buildings. That would include window replacement, carpet repair, roofing repair, bleacher repair, etc. Maintenance, repair of equipment, maintenance and repair of vehicles, other contracted services. Examples would include alarm testing and monitoring contract, our elevator inspections, fire extinguisher testing and replacement. Equipment and machinery parts, gasoline, general construction materials, software, other supplies and materials, staff development, other charges, including the OSHA program, devices, uniforms, and equipment, administrative equipment, maintenance equipment. This includes the purchase of a new mower tractor with attachments, upgrades, and tools. In the proposed budget for maintenance of plant, it's $2,311,096. This is an increase of 3.08%. Any questions? Okay, moving on. 72710, transportation. This series of accounts includes activities concerned with conveying students to and from school as provided by state and federal law. This includes trips between home and school, trips to school, and athletic events. This would be our contract with First Student, our diesel fuel, our software, our vehicle and equipment insurance, transportation equipment. And the grand total for the proposed budget for transportation is $2,188,214. That's an increase of 4.17%. Any questions? Wow. Okay, next is 73400, Early Childhood Education. This is educational service to our pre-K children ages 3 and 4. This account is offset by the state pre-K grant revenue in additional general fund special education account codes, federal funding from Head Start, Title I, IDEA, and IDEA preschool grants also support this program. So this is our teachers, our educational assistants, our benefit package. So the proposed budget for the early childhood education is $453,803. And that is even no increase. Any questions? Okay, 73401, Pre-K General Fund. This is educational services to pre-K children ages 3 and 4. Beginning in FY18, this account series was established for general fund support of the preschool program. This would include principals, teachers, medical personnel, our school nurse, secretaries, educational assistants, custodians, overtime pay, substitute teachers, the benefit package, local travel, other contracted services, including Head Start monitoring, diesel fuel, and instructional supply materials. This for the pre-K general fund for our proposed budget is $1,036,230, an increase of 9.96%. Any questions or comments? Okay, moving on. 76100, regular capital outlay. This budget section includes site acquisition, site improvement, architecture and engineering, educational specific development, building acquisition and construction, and other capital related services. This includes consultants, engineering services, our debt service. This is primary, our paying back our ESG annual payments. Our building improvements, including a contingency fund, the Jefferson elevator repairs, Woodland fire alarm replacement, scoreboards, Glenwood gym floor resurfacing, and the Oak Ridge High School Performing Arts Center lighting upgrade. Site development, including the maintenance of our playground surfaces and equipment. The proposed budget for the regular capital outlay is $1,195,205. This is a decrease of 67.40%. Any comments? Okay, moving on, 82130. Educational principal on debt. This budget section includes principal and interest on capital leases for district's technology. The principal on our leases is, and that's the category, it's a 6-year lease for our robotic field painter. It's, the proposed budget is $6,912. This is a increase of 0.51% or $35. Any comments or questions? Okay, 82230, educational interest on debt. This includes the principal and interest on capital leases for the robotic field painter, and it is $88, which is a decrease of 28.46%. Any questions or comments? Okay, next is our 99100 transfers out. This section includes transactions which withdraw money from one fund and places it in another. This is our district support for the Family Resource Center. The proposed budget is $136,698. That is an increase of 8.48%. Any questions or comments? Okay, so the total fund for the general purpose fund expenditures for our 25-26 proposed budget is $83,188,805, which is an increase of 8.12%. Any questions? Okay, that is the close of the expenditure details of the budget. Woo. So as with any budget, there are things that we would like to fund that we can't because there's only so much money coming in. But I feel good that I feel like we're on track to continue to grow and take care of our staff that are so good at taking care of our students. Any comments for Dr. B or Ms. Van Dyke?
I had this under the notes for Fund 145, but where we were talking about the transfers to the Family Resource Center. Just wanted to see if I could get a better understanding of how TISA allocates, because I know it was like a general approximately $30,000, almost like a grant, but I thought when it went to TISA that got kind of reallocated as a type of weight tied to each student. So just trying to understand how we're funding the Family Resource Center with what amount we're deciding on with that.
Sure, you want to take that, Ms. Van Dyke?
So you're correct. It used to be like about $30,000 grant. That $30,000 was $30,000 for about, from the time of its inception until TISA came into effect. They never increased it. So over time, of course, it funded less and less of that program. Really what we are transferring out of our general fund is anything to operate that program. Most of it, most of the supports are funded by donations. So most of that transfer has to do with paying for the salaries and the benefits of the individuals who run the program. There's not really any weights within TISA for it. They just said when they created TISA that and our Safe Schools grant, which also used to be a separate state grant, they just said that money is now a part of your base funding. So it's not weighted. It's literally just part of that $7,295. That's the base. And then it's up to each individual district to figure out how they're going to support that.
Okay, so that never increases with whatever if more students need
No.
the resources and stuff. We just
No.
offset that.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. B, any comments from you?
Well, first of all, nice job, Ms. McLean, for the first time through line by line. Yes, yes. And I just want to, I'll do this probably next Monday too, just thank Ms. Van Dyke and all of my team for the amount of work that's gone into this binder. I know we did that in about a half hour, but we've been at this since probably October, over a year for the salary study that we did. So just a lot of hours by staff, and I just want to thank them for all of their due diligence and the hard work it takes to create something like this.
Yes, certainly, your work is so appreciated, and when I go over it and read every one, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of work that goes into this.
I will say my team makes me look good because I have an amazing team that I work with, and the HR department helped so much this year too, especially with the salary stuff. So yeah, it definitely takes a village.
Very good. Okay. All right, let's move on to our items for action. It's time for our public hearing. Good evening, and thank you to everyone in attendance for coming to our special board meeting. we have reached the public forum, which is designed to allow anyone in attendance to address the budget. If you would like to address the board, please raise your hand to be recognized. Once at the podium, we ask that you sign in, state your name and home address. All comments must be made from the podium and into the microphone. Each person who chooses will have 3 minutes. The board may choose to respond, or perhaps they will choose to gather additional information and respond to your comments later. Is there anyone who wishes to address budget topics to the board? Okay, hearing none. We will move on. We have just done our first reading of the FY 25-26 budget. I will entertain a motion for approval of the budget on first reading. Okay, we have a motion made by Dr. Hartman, seconded by Ms. Craven. Any further comments or questions from the board?
I have one.
Okay.
I just want to thank Dr. Borchers and the staff for answering questions. I know several of us submitted questions, and you were very quick to get back to us with great detail. Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, no more questions, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so our communication, we have graduation on Friday. We're going to all say a prayer for sunny skies. After graduation, if you know any seniors, please encourage them to come to graduation celebration. It's a free event for them, starting at 10 o'clock at the Civic Center. Our regular board meeting will be a week from today at 5 o'clock, where we will have the second reading of this budget, but it will not be a line by line. And if you have any other questions, or think of questions after, please reach out. Dr. B and Ms. Van Dyke are great at answering, getting back to us. Any final comments, questions? Okay, I will see you all Friday night. Thank you to Melissa, Dave, and Scott. We are adjourned.